Let's ease into tonight's tale together as we explore why you, my dear listener, wouldn't last a day in ancient Egypt. Imagine, if you will, slowly drifting back in time, carried on the gentle current of the Nile. The golden sun is just peeking over the horizon, casting long shadows across the landscape. Mud brick houses line the riverbank, their earthy scent mingling with the sweet aroma of date palms swaying in the breeze. The air is filled with the soft lapping of water against the shore and the distant calls of ibises taking flight. You find yourself waking up as an ordinary Egyptian, your eyes adjusting to the soft light filtering through a small window. The rough texture of a reed mat beneath you reminds you that comfort is a luxury in this ancient world. As you stretch and yawn, take a moment to really feel the weight of this unfamiliar body. It's a slight ache in your muscles from yesterday's labor. The day ahead promises to be long and challenging, filled with tasks that would make our modern selves balk. But for now, let's linger in this moment of calm before the bustle of daily life begins. As you rise and step outside, the warmth of the sun caresses your skin, already hinting at the scorching heat to come. The air is thick with the scent of bread baking in communal ovens, a staple that will fuel you through the day's labors. You can hear the distant sound of donkeys braying, their carts laden with goods for the market. But life in ancient Egypt isn't all golden sunrises and aromatic bread. As you make your way down to the river to wash, you're acutely aware of the dangers lurking beneath the surface. Crocodiles, hidden in the reeds, pose a constant threat. Each step into the water is taken with caution, your senses alert for any ripple or movement that might signal danger. The Nile, while life-giving, is also unforgiving. Its annual floods, though crucial for agriculture, can be devastating. Homes built too close to the banks risk being swept away, and fields can be submerged, destroying an entire season's crops. As you perform your morning ablutions, you silently thank the gods for their mercy, knowing that your survival hangs in a delicate balance with nature. As the day progresses, the heat becomes oppressive. The sun beats down mercilessly, and you find yourself longing for the cool, air-conditioned spaces of the future. But here, in ancient Egypt, there's no escape from the relentless warmth. Work alongside your neighbors, tilling fields or hauling stone, your body glistening with sweat. The work is backbreaking, and you quickly realize that the ancient Egyptians were made of sterner stuff than most of us today. Every task requires physical strength and endurance that would leave many of us modern folks gasping for breath. As you pause to wipe the sweat from your brow, you can't help but wonder how long you'd truly last in this harsh environment. But it's not just the physical demands that would test your mettle. The social structure of ancient Egypt is rigid and unforgiving. Your place in society is determined at birth, and there's little hope of changing your station. If you're born a farmer, you'll likely die a farmer. Your days spent in endless toil under the watchful eyes of overseers and tax collectors. As the day wears on, you become acutely aware of the lack of modern conveniences. There's no running water, no electricity, and certainly no internet to distract you from the monotony of daily life. Entertainment comes in the form of simple games, storytelling, and religious festivals that break up the routine of work and sleep. Speaking of sleep, as night falls, you realize that even rest isn't as comfortable as you're used to. Your bed is a little more than a raised platform, perhaps with a thin mat for cushioning. Mosquitoes buzz incessantly, and the threat of scorpions lurking in dark corners keeps you on edge. But it's not all hardship and struggle. There's a sense of community here that's often lacking in our modern world. As you gather with your neighbors in the cool evening air, sharing a simple meal and swapping stories, you feel a connection to something greater than yourself. The rhythms of life, dictated by the sun and the seasons, have a comforting predictability. Yet, even as you find moments of joy in this ancient world, the harsh realities are never far away. Disease is rampant, with no modern medicine to combat it. A simple cut could lead to a life-threatening infection. Childbirth is perilous for both mother and infant. And looming over everything is the constant threat of war, as rival kingdoms vie for power and resources. As you lay down to sleep, your body aching from the day's labors, you reflect on the resilience of the ancient Egyptians. They built one of the world's great civilizations in the face of incredible hardships, leaving behind monuments that still awe us today. But you, dear listener, with your modern sensibilities and creature comforts, would likely find yourself overwhelmed by the daily challenges of life in ancient Egypt. The physical demands, constant dangers, and the rigid social structure would test even the hardiest among us as we drift back to the present, leaving behind the world of pharaohs and pyramids. Take a moment to appreciate the comforts of your own bed, the soft pillow beneath your head, the gentle hum of modern life outside your window. All seem like luxuries compared to the life we've just glimpsed. Let the weight of history settle over you like a warm blanket, soothing you into a peaceful sleep. As your eyes grow heavy, imagine the Nile flowing gently through time, carrying the stories of countless lives lived along its banks. The echoes of ancient Egypt fade into the background, a soft lullaby of distant memories. And so, as we conclude our journey through time, remember that while we may romanticize the past, each era comes with its own unique challenges. Perhaps, in some ways, we're more fortunate than we realize, nestled safely in our modern world. As you drift off to sleep, let the gentle crackle of our imaginary fireplace mingle with the whispers of history. May your dreams be filled with the golden light of Egyptian sunsets, the cool touch of Nile water, and the enduring spirit of those who came before us. The blazing sun beats down mercilessly on the dusty floodplain, where countless laborers toil under its unforgiving glare. You can almost feel the heat radiating from the parched earth, the warm winds carrying grains of sand that gently exfoliate your skin. This is ancient Egypt, a world so far removed from our air-conditioned comforts that it might as well be another planet. And yet, here you are, transported back in time, experiencing the daily life of the common Egyptian. Don't worry, you're safe now, nestled in your cozy bed as we explore this distant world together. Imagine waking up at dawn, the first rays of sunlight peeking through the gaps in your mud brick home. The air is already thick with heat, promising another scorching day ahead. You stretch, your muscles aching from yesterday's labor, but there's no time to linger. The Nile's floodwaters have receded, leaving behind fertile soil that needs tending. You can almost hear the distant calls of farmers heading to the fields, their voices carried on the gentle morning breeze. As you step outside, the warmth envelops you like a heavy blanket. The smell of earth and greenery fills your nostrils, a stark contrast to the arid landscape beyond the floodplain. You join the throng of workers, your bare feet sinking into the soft, damp soil. The work is backbreaking, planting, weeding, irrigating, all under the watchful eye of the sun god Ra, seems determined to test your endurance. But it's not just the farmers who face grueling days. In the distance, you can see the silhouettes of massive monuments under construction. Imagine the sheer physical toll of hauling enormous stone blocks, each weighing several tons, to build the pyramids and temples that would stand for millennia. The air is filled with the rhythmic chants of workers, their voices rising and falling like waves on the Nile, helping them coordinate their efforts as they move these colossal stones. You can rest now, letting the gentle sounds of ancient labor lull you deeper into relaxation. Feel the tension melting away from your body as you sink further into your comfortable bed, far removed from the harsh realities of ancient Egyptian life. As the sun reaches its zenith, the heat becomes almost unbearable. Sweat trickles down your back, and your throat is parched. It's time for a meal break, but don't expect a feast. The diet of the common Egyptian was simple and repetitive, a far cry from the variety we enjoy today. You're handed a chunk of dense, slightly sour bread, the staple food that formed the backbone of the Egyptian diet. It's not the fluffy, aromatic loaf you might be used to, but rather a hearty, filling sustenance that provides the energy needed for the long day ahead. To wash down the bread, there's beer, but not the crisp, cold beverage you might be craving in this heat. Ancient Egyptian beer was thick, nutrient-rich, and often served at room temperature. It's more like a meal in itself, providing both hydration and calories. As you sip the slightly bitter liquid, you can almost taste the grains and herbs used in its brewing. It's a flavor both foreign and oddly comforting. To round out the meal, there are onions, pungent, eye-watering alliums that add a much-needed kick to the otherwise bland diet. These weren't just a flavoring, but a significant source of vitamins and minerals for the ancient Egyptians. The strong taste lingers in your mouth, a constant reminder of the simple fare that sustained millions for thousands of years. You're safe now, far from the monotony of ancient meals. Let your mind drift, feeling the comfort of knowing that a world of culinary variety awaits you when you wake. For now, just breathe deeply and relax, letting the gentle rhythm of your breath carry you deeper into tranquility. As the afternoon wears on, the heat becomes even more oppressive. There's no respite from the sun's relentless assault, no air conditioning to seek refuge in. The only cooling comes from the occasional gust of wind, carrying with it the scent of the Nile and the promise of the evening to come. You can almost feel the warm air caressing your skin, a gentle touch that belies the harsh reality of the climate. But it's not just the heat you have to contend with. Sandstorms are a constant threat, especially during the dry season. Imagine the sky darkening ominously, not with rain clouds, but with an approaching wall of sand. The wind picks up, carrying fine grains that sting your eyes and skin. You can almost hear the eerie whistle of the wind as it whips around you, forcing you to seek shelter and wait out nature's fury. In these moments, huddled in the relative safety of a mud brick building or the lee of a stone wall, you might find yourself longing for the comforts of modern life. But for the ancient Egyptians, this was simply a fact of life, another challenge to be endured in their daily struggle for survival. You can rest easy now, knowing you're safe from the harsh elements. Feel the softness of your pillow, the gentle weight of your blanket. Let the imagined sounds of the ancient world, the distant murmur of the Nile, the soft rustling of papyrus reeds, lull you into a deeper state of relaxation. As the day finally begins to cool, you might think the work is done, but for many, the labor continues into the night. Stonemasons chip away at blocks by torchlight, their rhythmic tapping a soothing counterpoint to the chirping of night insects. Scribes bend over papyrus scrolls, carefully recording the day's events by the flickering light of oil lamps. Even in the relative cool of the evening, the air remains thick and heavy, carrying the accumulated heat of the day. This was the reality of life for the vast majority of ancient Egyptians. A constant struggle against the elements, a life of hard labor and simple pleasures. The magnificent monuments and intricate hieroglyphs that we associate with this civilization were the product of countless unnamed individuals, each playing their small part in the grand tapestry of history. As you lie there, comfortable and safe, take a moment to appreciate the luxuries of modern life. The ability to control our environment, to enjoy a varied diet, to escape the harshest realities of nature. These are gifts that would have seemed like impossible magic to our ancient ancestors. Let your mind drift now, floating on the gentle current of the Nile of your imagination. Feel the last vestiges of tension melting away from your body, replaced by a deep sense of peace and relaxation. The ancient world fades away, leaving only the soft, warm cocoon of your bed. You're safe now, far removed from the harsh realities of ancient Egypt. Let the gentle rhythm of your breath carry you deeper into tranquility. With each inhale, feel yourself becoming more relaxed. With each exhale, let go of any remaining tension. The world outside fades away, leaving only the peaceful sanctuary of your rest. As you hover on the edge of sleep, imagine the soft lapping of water against the banks of the Nile, the gentle rustle of papyrus reeds in the night breeze. These soothing sounds carry you further into relaxation, deeper into the realm of peaceful slumber. Remember, you're safe here. There's no need to worry about the blazing sun or the back-breaking labor of ancient times. You're surrounded by comfort, enveloped in the soft embrace of your bed. Let yourself drift, floating on the calm waters of your mind, carried gently towards the shores of sleep. The ancient world we've explored tonight is just a story now, a tale to help you unwind and relax. As you feel yourself slipping deeper into comfort, know that you can revisit this world whenever you need a moment of calm. The Nile will always be there, its waters ready to wash away the stresses of your day. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the mattress, each muscle releasing its tension. Your breathing is slow and steady, like the eternal rhythm of the great river. With each breath, you're carried further into relaxation, deeper into peace. The sounds of the ancient world grow softer now, fading into a gentle background hum. All that remains is the quiet sanctuary of your rest, a place of perfect calm and safety. Here, in this moment, there's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. You can simply be, existing in perfect tranquility. As you hover on the very edge of sleep, know that you're exactly where you need to be. Safe, comfortable, and completely at peace. Let go of any last thoughts or worries, allowing them to drift away like leaves on the Nile's current. You're embarking on your own journey now, sailing towards the peaceful shores of slumber. As we delve into the social hierarchy of ancient Egypt, you'll find yourself transported to a world with the gentle lapping of the Nile against the shore and the soft rustling of papyrus in the warm breeze create a soothing backdrop. Close your eyes and imagine the distant sounds of workers' chants carried on the wind. It's growing fainter as we explore this fascinating yet rigid society. In ancient Egypt, there was no escaping your place in the social order. At the very top, basking in the glow of divine right and earthly power, sat the pharaoh. This god-king ruled over all, his word as unquestionable as the rising and setting of the sun. Just below, like stars twinkling in the night sky, were the priests and nobles. They lived lives of luxury that most could only dream of, their days filled with fine linens, exotic foods, and the cool shade of palace gardens. But for the vast majority of Egyptians, life was a far cry from this opulence. Farmers and workers formed the foundation of society. Their days marked by the rhythm of the seasons and the back-breaking labor that kept the empire running. Can almost feel the heat of the sun on your skin. Hear the creak of the shadoof as it lifts water from the Nile to irrigate the fields. These were the people who built the pyramids, who tended the crops, who kept the wheels of civilization turning. Yet, for all their efforts, there was no ladder to climb, no way to ascend to a higher station. The social hierarchy was as immovable as the great stone monuments that dotted the landscape. A farmer's son would be a farmer, a craftsman's daughter, a craftswoman. The gentle current of the Nile might change course over centuries, but a person's place in society remained as fixed as the stars in the night sky. You're safe now, nestled in the comfort of your bed, far from the toil of ancient times. Let the soft whisper of history lull you deeper into relaxation. Taxes were the lifeblood of the empire, flowing from the people to the pharaoh like the life-giving waters of the Nile. But unlike today's monetary system, ancient Egyptians paid their dues in crops or labor. Imagine the weight of a basket full of grain, the scent of freshly harvested barley filling the air as it's carried to the royal granaries. Or picture the lines of workers, their silhouettes dark against the golden sands, as they fulfill their labor tax by working on massive building projects. This system left little room for personal time or pursuits. From sunrise to sunset, the majority of Egyptians worked to meet their obligations to the state. The concept of free time as we know it today was as foreign to them as the idea of electric light or air conditioning. Yet, even in this demanding world, there were moments of respite. Can you hear the soft melody of a reed flute carried on the evening breeze, or the gentle laughter of children playing in the fading light of day. You can rest now, knowing that the burdens of ancient Egypt are not yours to bear. Let the steady flow of history wash over you, carrying away the stresses of your day. As night falls on the Nile, imagine the flickering light of oil lamps casting long shadows on mud brick walls. In homes across the land, families gather, their voices a low murmur as they share the events of the day. Despite the rigid social structure, there was warmth in these moments of connection, a shared experience that transcended the boundaries of class. The pharaoh, in his gilded palace, might gaze out over his realm, seeing the pinpricks of light that marked each household. From the grand temples, where priests conducted their rituals, to the humble dwellings of farmers and artisans, every flame represented a life, a story, a part of the great tapestry of Egyptian society. As we drift further into the night, let the gentle weight of history settle around you like a warm blanket. The social hierarchy of ancient Egypt may seem distant and unfamiliar, but the human experiences of love, hope, and perseverance remain timeless. You're safe here, cradled in the present, as we explore the echoes of the past. The moon rises over the desert, casting a silver glow on the limestone facing of the pyramids. In the workers' village, the day's labor has ended, but tomorrow will bring more of the same. Generation after generation, the cycle continued, as unchanging as the eternal flow of the Nile. Yet, even within this rigid structure, there were whispers of change. Like the slow erosion of stone by water, ideas and innovations slowly shaped the course of Egyptian history. The introduction of new tools, the gradual shifts in religious beliefs, the influences of foreign trade and conquest. All of these factors gently nudged society forward. Even if the fundamental structure remained intact. As your breathing slows and your thoughts begin to drift, imagine the countless lives that flowed through the long history of ancient Egypt. Each person, from the mightiest pharaoh to the humblest field worker, played their part in the grand narrative of civilization. Their hopes, dreams, and daily struggles were not so different from our own, separated only by the veil of time. The night deepens, and the sounds of the ancient world grow fainter. It's the lapping of the Nile against its banks, the distant call of a night bird, it's the soft whisper of sand shifting in the desert wind, all blend into a soothing lullaby of history. You're safe here, wrapped in the gentle embrace of sleep, as the story of ancient Egypt continues to unfold in your dreams. In the quiet hours before dawn, when the world hangs suspended between night and day, reflect on the enduring legacy of this ancient civilization. Its pyramids still stand, silent sentinels guarding the secrets of the past. The hieroglyphs on tomb walls still speak, telling stories of gods and mortals, of life and afterlife. Atita, and the Nile still flows, a constant thread connecting us to those who came before. As sleep beckons, remember that you are part of this ongoing story. Your life, your experiences, your dreams, all are woven into the vast tapestry of human history. Let this knowledge comfort you, a reminder that you are never truly alone. The stars begin to fade as the first light of dawn touches the eastern horizon. In ancient Egypt, this would signal the start of another day of labor and duty. But for you, safe in the present, it's a gentle reminder of the cyclical nature of time and history. As you drift deeper into sleep, carry with you the wisdom of the ages, the resilience of countless generations, and a peace that comes from understanding your place in the grand sweep of human experience. Rest now, knowing that the story of humanity continues, ever-changing, yet somehow eternal, like the flowing waters of the mighty Nile. As we drift into the realm of ancient Egypt, let's explore a topic that might surprise you: hygiene and health in this ancient civilization. You're safe now, nestled in the comfort of your modern world, as we journey back thousands of years to a time when the Nile flowed steadily and the desert winds whispered secrets of the past. Now, You might think that the ancient Egyptians were a grimy bunch, but they were actually surprisingly clean. They used natron, a naturally occurring salt, to create a soap-like substance for washing their bodies and clothes. Can you imagine the soft, silky feeling of freshly cleaned linen against your skin? The air around you filled with the subtle fragrances of myrrh and frankincense, used not just in religious ceremonies, but also as personal perfumes. They valued bathing and perfume more than you'd expect from a civilization that existed so long ago. Their approach to medicine was a fascinating blend of practical knowledge and magical thinking. He might prescribe a poultice of herbs for a wound, their earthy scent filling the air. The sweet scent of honey, another common remedy, might waft through the air as it was applied to wounds to prevent infection. These natural medicines, combined with their emphasis on cleanliness, probably saved many lives. But he would also recite spells to ward off evil spirits believed to cause illness. Imagine the frustration and fear of facing an illness with no known cure. Life expectancy was short by our standards. The average Egyptian might live to be 30 or 40 years old. Child mortality was high. You're safe now. The parasites of the Nile can't reach you here. The eye diseases carried by flies and sand are just stories from the past. You can rest easy, free from the worries that plagued the ancient Egyptians. Let the soft whisper of history lull you into a peaceful slumber, where you might walk along the banks of the Nile in your dreams, but wake refreshed in the comfort of your modern world. And women faced significant risks during childbirth. You can rest peacefully, knowing that these are not concerns you face in your modern life. Regular bathing was not just for cleanliness, but also a religious ritual. Let's take a moment to appreciate how far we've come. They valued cleanliness, developed practical medical treatments, and sought comfort in their beliefs when science fell short. As you drift toward sleep, perhaps you'll dream of the flowing Nile, the warm desert winds, and the people who lived so long ago, facing challenges we can scarcely imagine. The gentle lapping of the Nile fades into the background, replaced by the soft hum of your fan or the distant sounds of your modern world. You're safe now, cocooned in the advances of thousands of years of medical progress. The cool water would have been a welcome relief from the heat of the day. Can you feel the imaginary droplets on your skin, washing away the dust and cares of the day? The comfort of magic and religion often stepped in where medicine fell short. Imagine the setting sun casting long shadows across the pyramids. Air cools, and a gentle breeze carries the scent of night-blooming jasmine. In ancient times, this would be the hour when people retired to their homes, perhaps saying a prayer to the gods for good health and protection through the night. You're safe now, wrapped in the knowledge of centuries, as you slowly drift off to sleep. You're safe now in an age where we understand germ theory and have access to modern medical care. You can almost hear the low, rhythmic chanting, a soothing background to our exploration of ancient medical practices. Herbs and plant-based remedies were used alongside spells and incantations. The soft rustling of papyrus leaves in the evening breeze might remind you of the medical texts they created, filled with remedies both logical and mystical. While they may have smelled nice, diseases were still rampant in ancient Egypt. The very river that gave them life also harbored dangers. You can rest now, knowing you're far from the parasites that lurked in the Nile's waters. The fertile Nile Valley provided a variety of fruits, vegetables, and grains. Fish from the river and occasional meat supplemented their diet. The soft crunching of bread, the staple food, and the juicy sweetness of dates might have been common sounds and tastes in an Egyptian home. Picture yourself standing on the banks of the Nile, the warm breeze carrying the scent of lotus flowers and palm trees. It's a pleasant sensation, isn't it? But hidden in that murky water were tiny parasites, waiting to burrow into unsuspecting flesh. Bilharzia, a parasitic infection caused by flatworms, was a common ailment. These microscopic invaders could cause fever, chills, and long-term organ damage. You're safe now, in your cozy bed, far from these ancient perils. The gentle lapping of water against the shore creates a soothing rhythm as you watch people go about their daily ablutions. Infections were a constant threat in a world without antibiotics. A small cut or scrape could quickly become a serious problem. The hot sand and ever-present flies led to numerous eye diseases. Can you feel the gentle weight of your eyelids as they close, shielding your eyes from imaginary grains of sand? You can rest easy, knowing your vision is safe from the trachoma and other eye infections that plagued the ancient Egyptians. The Egyptians took great pride in their appearance and cleanliness, but do not let this cleanliness fool you into thinking life was easy or hygienic by our modern standards. Oh no, my friend. Imagine standing knee-deep in the cool river, feeling the silt between your toes. The warm, dry climate of Egypt brought its own set of health challenges. As night falls on our imaginary journey through time, let's consider how the Egyptians dealt with these health issues. Picture a dimly lit room, smoky with incense. An Egyptian physician, part doctor, part priest, examines a patient. Some of their herbal remedies were surprisingly effective. Garlic, for instance, was used to treat heart conditions, and its antibacterial properties likely helped with infections. But for all their knowledge, there was still so much they didn't understand. As we delve deeper into the night, let's consider the daily routines that kept the ancient Egyptians as healthy as possible. Diet played a crucial role in maintaining health, but even with their best efforts, as our journey through ancient Egyptian health and hygiene comes to a close, the ancient Egyptians did their best with the knowledge and resources they had. Remember, as the night deepens and your breathing slows, as we delve deeper into the daily life of ancient Egyptians, let's explore their living conditions. Picture yourself in a small mud hut, walls baked by the relentless sun, the air thick with the scent of earth and sweat. These humble dwellings were the norm for most Egyptians, a far cry from the grandeur of the pharaoh's palaces. Families huddled together in cramped spaces, their lives intertwined like the reeds of the Nile. Imagine the soft crackle of an open fire, the heart of every home. It's here that meals were prepared, the smoke curling lazily upwards, carrying with it the aroma of roasting grains and vegetables. The warmth of the flames provided comfort, but also filled the air with a constant haze. You can almost feel the gentle sting in your eyes, a reminder of the price paid for sustenance. As night falls, the absence of mosquito nets becomes painfully apparent. The air hums with the incessant buzz of insects, their tiny forms silhouetted against the dying embers of the fire. Pests were an ever-present companion in ancient Egyptian homes, from the smallest fly to the most persistent rodent. Close your eyes and listen to the soft rustling of straw mats, the only barrier between weary bodies and the hard-packed earth floor. The furniture, if it could be called that, was sparse and utilitarian. Clay pots lined the walls, their rounded forms holding the day's water ration or the family's meager possessions. There were no plush pillows or soft bedding to ease the transition into sleep. Instead, the ancient Egyptians made do with what nature provided: reeds woven into mats, perhaps a rough blanket for the coldest nights. You're safe now, in your comfortable bed, far removed from the hardships of ancient Egyptian life. As you sink deeper into relaxation, let's turn our attention to the lifeblood of Egypt, the mighty Nile. The annual flooding of the Nile was both a blessing and a curse for the ancient Egyptians. It's like a fickle god. The river gave life with one hand and threatened to take it away with the other. As the waters rose, bringing with them the promise of fertile soil, the air would fill with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Imagine standing on the banks of the swollen river, the normally placid waters now a churning mass of silt-laden currents. The sound of the flood would have been a constant backdrop to daily life, a low, persistent roar that spoke of nature's awesome power. You can almost feel the damp earth beneath your feet, the air heavy with moisture and anticipation. For those living closest to the Nile, the flood season was a time of both hope and fear. The rich, black soil deposited by the receding waters would ensure bountiful crops in the coming year. But if the river rose too high, homes could be swept away in an instant, years of hard work erased by the unforgiving waters. Picture a family huddled on higher ground, watching anxiously as the floodwaters creep ever closer to their mud brick home. The air is thick with tension, broken only by the occasional splash of debris carried along by the current. In these moments, the ancient Egyptians were acutely aware of their dependence on nature's whims. You can rest easy, knowing you're far from such unpredictable forces. As you drift closer to sleep, let's consider how this annual cycle shaped the very fabric of Egyptian society. The Nile's floods were more than just a natural phenomenon. They were the heartbeat of ancient Egyptian life. Every aspect of society, from agriculture to religion, was intrinsically linked to this yearly inundation. Farmers would anxiously await the flood's arrival, their livelihoods hanging in the balance. Too little water meant drought and famine. Too much could be equally devastating. Imagine the quiet tension in the air as the first signs of the flood appeared. The gentle lapping of water against the riverbanks would gradually build to a crescendo, the once familiar landscape transforming before your eyes. The flood brought with it a sense of renewal, washing away the dust and toil of the previous year. But with this renewal came a profound lack of control. The ancient Egyptians were at the mercy of forces far beyond their understanding. They developed elaborate systems of canals and dikes to try and harness the Nile's power, but ultimately, nature held sway. This dependence on the river cycle fostered a deep respect for the natural world and the gods believed to control it. As the flood waters receded, leaving behind a carpet of fertile black soil, the air would have been filled with a sense of possibility. The soft squelch of mud beneath bare feet, the earthy scent of new beginnings. These sensations marked the start of the planting season. Even as seeds were sown, there was always the knowledge that next year's flood could bring bounty or ruin. You're safe now, far from the uncertainties of life on the Nile, as you sink deeper into comfort. Let the gentle rhythm of your breath mimic the ebb and flow of the ancient river. Let go of any tension, any worries about what tomorrow may bring. In this moment, you can rest, secure in the knowledge that your world is not subject to the whims of an unpredictable river. The ancient Egyptians' relationship with the Nile was one of profound respect and constant vigilance. They learned to read the subtle signs that heralded the flood's approach, the appearance of certain stars, the behavior of animals along the riverbank. This keen observation of their environment was born of necessity, a survival skill honed over generations. Imagine standing on the banks of the Nile as the first floodwaters arrive. The air is thick with anticipation, the normally languid river now swelling with purpose. The sound of rushing water fills your ears, drowning out the usual bustle of daily life. In these moments, time seemed to stand still, the entire nation holding its breath as nature took its course. For those living in the floodplain, each year brought a delicate balance between hope and fear. The floodwaters that nourished their crops could also destroy their homes, washing away years of hard work in a matter of days. Yet, despite this constant threat, the people persevered, adapting their lives to the river's rhythms. You can rest easy, knowing that your home is secure, your future not tied to the whims of a capricious river. As you drift closer to sleep, let the soft sounds of your surroundings lull you into a state of deep relaxation. You're safe here, far from the uncertainties that plagued the ancient Egyptians. The Nile's flood cycle didn't just shape the physical landscape of Egypt, it molded the very structure of society. The need to predict and manage the floods gave rise to a class of skilled observers and administrators. These individuals, often priests, held great power and influence, their ability to interpret the river's moods seen as a divine gift. Imagine the hushed conversations in temples and palaces as these learned men pored over records of past floods. searching for patterns that might hint at what the coming year would bring. The soft rustle of papyrus, the quiet murmur of voices. These were the sounds of a civilization trying to impose order on chaos. For the average Egyptian, life was a constant dance with the river's moods. They learned to build their homes on slightly elevated ground, to store food for the times when the fields were underwater. The flood season brought a forced period of rest from agricultural labor, a time when communities came together to repair dikes and canals, to share stories and strengthen bonds. You're safe now, your life not bound by the ebb and flow of a great river. As you sink deeper into relaxation, let go of any lingering tension. Feel the soft support beneath you, so different from the hard-packed earth of an ancient Egyptian home. You can rest here, secure in the knowledge that your world is stable, predictable. The ancient Egyptians' relationship with the Nile was one of profound respect and constant adaptation. They learned to work with the river's cycles rather than against them, developing a civilization that thrived in one of the world's most challenging environments. This resilience, this ability to find opportunity in adversity, was perhaps their greatest legacy. As the gentle sound of your own breath fills your ears, imagine the soft lapping of water against a riverbank. Let the rhythmic sound carry you deeper into relaxation, washing away any remaining tension. You're safe here, far from the uncertainties of life in ancient Egypt. You can rest now, secure in the knowledge that your world is not subject to the whims of an unpredictable river. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, it's casting long shadows across the desert sands, we find ourselves transported back to the world of ancient Egypt. The Nile flows gently in the distance, its waters a lifeline in this harsh landscape. You can almost feel the warm breeze on your skin, carrying with it the faint scent of lotus blossoms and spices from the market. Now, let's ease into tonight's journey together, exploring why you, dear listener, wouldn't last a day in this fascinating but unforgiving civilization. Close your eyes, if you'd like, and let the soft hum of the fan blend with the imagined sounds of a bygone era. You're safe here, in the present, as we delve into the past. Picture yourself walking the streets of ancient Thebes or Memphis, the bustling capitals of Egypt. The air is thick with the chatter of merchants and the bleating of goats. But beneath this lively exterior lies a society governed by harsh laws and brutal punishments. You see, in ancient Egypt, the line between right and wrong was as sharp as the edge of a pharaoh's ceremonial dagger. Stealing was more than just a crime, It was an offense against Met, the concept of cosmic order and justice. If you were caught pilfering so much as a loaf of bread, you'd find yourself in a world of trouble, faster than you could say by Osiris's green skin. The punishment for theft could range from a brutal beating to having your nose cut off. Imagine trying to explain that one to your boss back home. But it wasn't just theft that could land you in hot water. Lying was considered a grave offense, especially if you were testifying in court. The ancient Egyptians took their oaths seriously, often swearing by the gods themselves. If you were caught in a lie, you might find yourself facing forced labor in the quarries, where the hot sun and back-breaking work would make you wish you just told the truth. And speaking of gods, you'd better watch your step around the temples. Offending a deity was not just socially awkward, it could be downright dangerous. The gods were everywhere in ancient Egyptian life, and showing proper respect was crucial. A careless word or action near a sacred site could see you exiled or worse. You can rest easy knowing you're not navigating that spiritual minefield right now. The justice system, if you could call it that, was swift and often brutal. Corporal punishment was the order of the day, with beatings being a common sentence for minor offenses. You might think you could tough it out, but these weren't your average schoolyard thumps. We're talking about professional pine inflictors who knew exactly how to make every strike count. For more serious crimes, forced labor was a favorite of the authorities. Imagine being sent to work in the copper mines of Sinai, where the heat was oppressive and the work never ending. The soft whisper of your fan at home is a far cry from from the relentless clang of pickaxes on stone. You're safe now, tucked away from such harsh realities. Exile was another punishment that might sound not so bad at first. After all, how terrible could it be to leave? But in a world where your identity was tied to your homeland, being cast out was a fate some considered worse than death. Sent to the edges of the known world, you'd face hostile environments and peoples with no hope of return. The comfort of your own bed seems all the more inviting now, doesn't it? But perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the ancient Egyptian legal system was the lack of recourse if you were wrongly accused. There was no presumption of innocence, no right to remain silent. If someone pointed the finger at you, you'd better have a good explanation or a powerful friend to vouch for your character. The gentle rhythm of your breathing now is a reminder of the peace you have, free from such arbitrary justice. As night falls deeper over the land of the pharaohs in our imagination, the air grows cooler and the sounds of the day fade to a whisper. The harsh realities of ancient Egyptian law seem to soften in the moonlight, becoming distant echoes of a world long past. You can almost hear the lapping of the Nile against its banks, a soothing counterpoint to the stern laws we've explored. In the quiet of the night, let's reflect on how fortunate we are to live in more forgiving times. The warm cocoon of your bed is a far cry from the cold stone of an ancient prison cell. Soft pillow beneath your head is infinitely more comfortable than the hard labor of the quarries. You're safe here, in the present, for the harshest punishment you're likely to face is a strongly worded email or a parking ticket. As we drift further into the realm of sleep, imagine the stars above ancient Egypt, the same stars that shine down on us tonight. They've witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the changing of laws, the evolution of justice. Yet they remain constant, a comforting presence in the vast expanse of time. The ancient Egyptians believed in the concept of balance, that for every harsh law, there must be mercy. Perhaps, in their own way, they were striving for a just society, even if their methods seem cruel to our modern sensibilities. As your breathing slows and your body relaxes, let's find balance in our own lives, between the fascination of history and the comfort of the present. The Nile continues its eternal journey, as it has for millennia. Its waters have seen pharaohs and peasants, criminals and judges come and go. Yet it flows on, indifferent to the laws of men, a reminder of the constancy of nature amidst the changing tides of human civilization. Let the imagined sound of its gentle current carry you towards peaceful slumber. As we pause in our journey through ancient Egypt, remember that you're safe in your own time, free from the harsh judgments of long-ago pharaohs. The weight of their laws cannot touch you here. You can rest easy, knowing that your day-to-day worries are far removed from the life and death. Decisions faced by those who walked the streets of Thebes or Memphis thousands of years ago. The warm night air of Egypt in our minds begins to blend with the comfort of your own surroundings. The distant call of a night bird might be real or imagined, a soft punctuation to the stillness that envelops you. Your breathing has become slow and steady, matching the rhythm of the ancient world we've been exploring. In this moment of tranquility, let's linger a while longer in the shadow of the pyramids, those enduring monuments to human achievement and the power of ancient Egyptian society. Their silhouettes against the starry sky are a testament to the ingenuity and determination of a people who lived under laws we can scarcely comprehend today. As your mind drifts between the world of ancient Egypt and the comfort of your own bed, know that you're embarking on a journey as old as humanity itself, the journey into sleep. The pharaohs, with all their power, could not command the realm of dreams any more than you or I in sleep. We are all equal, all free from the constraints of harsh laws and judgments. The gentle breeze that whispers through your room carries with it the echoes of history, the stories of countless lives lived under the watchful eyes of the gods and the stern gaze of earthly authorities. Yet here, now, you are safe from their scrutiny, free to rest and rejuvenate. As we slowly transition away from the world of ancient Egypt, let the last images be of peace. The setting sun painting the desert gold, the first stars appearing in the deepening blue of the sky, the gentle lap of water against the banks of the life-giving Nile. These eternal rhythms continue, unaffected by the laws of men or the passage of time. You can rest now, secure in the knowledge that the harsh realities we've explored are long past. The warmth of your bed is a comfort the ancient Egyptians could scarcely have imagined, a luxury beyond even the pharaoh's dreams. As you drift closer to sleep, let the weight of history fall away, leaving only the soft embrace of night and the promise of peaceful dreams. As the warm desert winds whisper across the sands of ancient Egypt, we find ourselves transported to a world where the line between life and death was as thin as papyrus. The Nile's gentle lapping against the shore provides a soothing backdrop as we delve into the fascinating realm of Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. You're safe now, nestled in the comfort of your own time as we explore these ancient mysteries together. In the land of the pharaohs, life was but a brief prelude to the eternal journey that awaited beyond the veil of mortality. Every aspect of Egyptian society revolved around preparing for this grand transition. From the lowliest farmer to the mightiest pharaoh, all shared a deep and abiding belief in the afterlife. This wasn't just a vague notion of what might come after death. It was a vivid, all-encompassing worldview that shaped every decision, every action, every moment of their lives. Imagine, if you will, a society where your entire existence was focused on what came next. The soft glow of oil lamps illuminates the walls of ancient homes, where families gather to discuss not just the day's events, but the preparations for eternity. Children are raised with stories of the gods and the afterlife, their young minds filled with visions of a world beyond our own. The air is thick with the scent of incense, used in daily rituals to appease the deities who would judge their souls. As you rest and listen, picture the intricate tapestry of beliefs that wove through Egyptian culture. The afterlife wasn't just a distant hope. It was a tangible destination, as real to them as the markets they visited or the fields they tended. Every action in this life had consequences in the next, creating a complex system of moral and spiritual accounting that guided their every step. The gentle rustling of palm fronds in the night breeze reminds us of the passage of time, both in our world and in the ancient one we're exploring. You can relax now, letting the weight of modern concerns slip away as we continue our journey through the sands of history. One of the most famous aspects of Egyptian preparation for the afterlife was the practice of mummification. While we won't delve into the more unsettling details, it's worth noting the care and reverence with which this process was undertaken. Imagine the quiet solemnity of the embalmer's workshops. The deceased were lovingly prepared for their eternal journey. The air would have been heavy with the scent of natron and fragrant oils, the silence broken only by the soft murmur of prayers and incantations. This wasn't a gruesome or macabre process in the eyes of the Egyptians. Rather, it was a sacred duty, a final act of love and respect for the departed. The goal was to preserve the body, believing that the soul would need a physical anchor in the afterlife. As you listen, let the gentle rhythm of these ancient rituals lull you into a state of peaceful contemplation. The importance of the afterlife in Egyptian culture cannot be overstated. It permeated every aspect of their society, from the grandest monuments to the smallest daily rituals. The Great Pyramids, their silhouettes softened by the hazy desert air, stand as eternal testaments to this obsession with the world beyond. But it wasn't just the pharaohs who were concerned with the afterlife. Every Egyptian, regardless of their station in life, spent considerable time and resources preparing for their journey into eternity. As the stars wheel slowly overhead, twinkling like the jewels in a pharaoh's crown, we can almost feel the weight of thousands of years of belief and tradition. You're safe here, cradled in the gentle embrace of history, as we continue our exploration of this fascinating culture. The Egyptians believed that the afterlife was a place of peace and plenty, but reaching it was no simple matter. The soul had to navigate a perilous journey, facing trials and judgments before it could find rest. This belief led to the creation of elaborate funerary texts, like the Book of the Dead, which provided instructions and spells to help the deceased on their way. Imagine the soft scratching of reed pens on papyrus as scribes carefully copied these sacred words, each stroke a lifeline for the soul's journey. As you relax and let your mind wander through the corridors of time, picture the quiet dedication of these ancient scribes. Their work was more than just a job. It was a sacred duty, ensuring that each person had the knowledge they needed to reach the afterlife safely. The gentle flickering of lamplight, the faint aroma of ink and papyrus, the hushed whispers of concentration. All these sensory details create a cocoon of tranquility around us as we delve deeper into Egyptian beliefs. The importance of proper burial and funerary rites in Egyptian culture cannot be overstated. It was believed that without the correct preparations, a soul might be lost forever, unable to find its way to the afterlife. This belief was so strong that even the poorest members of society would save for years to ensure they had at least a modest tomb in the necessary funerary equipment. As the night deepens and the world grows quieter, we can almost hear the soft footsteps of ancient priests performing their nightly rituals in the temples. The air is filled with the faint scent of incense and the barely audible chanting of prayers for the dead. You can rest easy now, knowing that these ancient caretakers are still watching over the souls in their charge. Even after thousands of years, the sanctity of the tomb was paramount in Egyptian society. It was more than just a final resting place. It was a gateway to eternity, a home for the soul in the afterlife. As such, the violation of a tomb was considered one of the most heinous crimes imaginable. Tomb robbing wasn't just theft, it was a spiritual assault, potentially condemning the soul of the deceased to eternal unrest. The punishment for tomb robbing was severe, often resulting in death. But it wasn't just the physical punishment that deterred would-be robbers. The spiritual consequences were believed to be far worse. Imagine the weight of that belief, the fear of not just earthly justice, but divine retribution. The soft whisper of wind through the desert nights might have sounded like the angry murmurs of disturbed spirits to those contemplating such a crime. As you drift closer to sleep, let the gentle rhythm of the Nile's waters soothe you. You're safe here, far from the concerns of both the modern world and the ancient one we've been exploring. The stars continue their slow dance across the sky, just as they did thousands of years ago when the pharaohs gazed up at them, contemplating their place in the universe. The Egyptian belief in the afterlife was a source of both comfort and pressure. It provided a framework for understanding the world and one's place in it, offering the promise of eternal peace and plenty for those who lived a good life. But it also created a constant awareness of one's actions and their consequences, not just in this life, but in the next. Imagine the weight of that belief, the knowledge that every action, every word, every thought might be judged in the afterlife. The soft rustling of palm leaves in the night breeze might have sounded like the whispers of watching gods to the ancient Egyptians. Yet, this belief also brought a deep sense of purpose and meaning to their lives. Every day was an opportunity to prepare for eternity, to ensure that when the time came, they would be ready for the journey that awaited them. As the night grows deeper and your thoughts become hazier, let yourself be carried away by the gentle current of history. The ancient Egyptians may be long gone, but their beliefs and practices continue to fascinate us, offering a window into a world where the line between life and death was beautifully blurred. The soft glow of the moon casts long shadows across the desert sands, just as it did in ancient times. The world is quiet now, save for the gentle lapping of the Nile and the distant call of a night bird. You can rest easy, knowing that the mysteries of the ancient world will still be here tomorrow, waiting to be explored anew. As the sun beats down mercilessly on the dusty plains of Giza, you find yourself transported back in time. standing among the countless laborers toiling away on the great pyramids. The air is thick with the scent of sweat and stone dust, and you can almost feel the weight of the massive limestone blocks pressing down on your shoulders. But don't worry, you're safe now, nestled in your comfortable bed, far from the harsh realities of ancient Egypt. Imagine, if you will, the life of a builder on these monumental structures. The day begins before dawn, as the first rays of light peek over the horizon. Cool morning air is a brief respite from the scorching heat to come. You can hear the soft rustling of palm fronds in the gentle breeze, and the distant calls of birds greeting the new day. Take a deep breath and let the calm wash over you. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, the work begins in earnest. The sound of stone scraping against stone fills the air, punctuated by the grunts and shouts of workers straining to move massive blocks into place. You can almost feel the rough texture of the ropes digging into your palms, the coarse sand beneath your feet. But remember, you're safe and comfortable where you are now. Let the rhythmic sounds of labor lull you into a peaceful state. The hours stretch on endlessly under the relentless Egyptian sun. There are no modern conveniences here. No power tools, no cranes, no air conditioning. Every block must be cut, transported, and placed by hand in sheer human strength. The work is backbreaking, and injuries are common. A misplaced step, a moment of inattention, and disaster could strike. But you're far from harm's way, wrapped in the soft embrace of your blankets. As midday approaches, the heat becomes almost unbearable. Stone beneath your feet is hot enough to burn, and the air shimmers with waves of heat rising from the ground. You can almost taste the dust in your mouth, feel the sweat trickling down your back, but there's no respite, no break from the endless toil. The pharaoh's tomb must be built, and time waits for no one. In the distance, you might catch a glimpse of the Nile, a ribbon of blue cutting through the golden desert. The sight of water is tantalizing, but for now, it's out of reach. Instead, you must make do with the meager rations provided. Some bread, perhaps some onions or garlic, and, if you're lucky, a bit of fish. The food is simple, designed to provide energy rather than satisfaction. As you imagine this sparse meal, take a moment to appreciate the comfort and abundance you enjoy now. You're safe, well-fed, and at peace. As the afternoon wears on, the work becomes even more challenging. Muscles ache, blisters form and burst, and the relentless sun saps what little energy remains. Yet still, the work continues. The massive blocks must be moved, inch by painstaking inch, up the growing sides of the pyramid. You can almost hear the creaking of the wooden rollers, the shouts of the foreman urging the workers on. But these sounds are distant now, fading away as you sink deeper into relaxation. Injuries are an ever-present danger in this harsh environment. A crushed foot, a broken arm, a fall from the growing heights of the pyramid. Any of these could spell disaster for a worker. There are no modern hospitals here, no advanced medical treatments. A serious injury could mean the end of one's ability to work, and in ancient Egypt, that could be a death sentence in itself. But you're safe now, far from such dangers. Let that knowledge settle over you like a warm, comforting blanket as the sun begins to dip towards the horizon. Casting long shadows across the desert sands, the day's work finally comes to an end. But there's little time for rest. Basic needs must be met, tending to injuries, preparing for the next day's labor, perhaps offering prayers to the gods for strength and protection. The evening meal is much like the midday one, simple, sparse, but necessary to replenish the energy expended during the long day of toil. Night falls, bringing with it a blessed coolness after the heat of the day. The stars come out, countless pinpricks of light in the vast desert sky. Perhaps, as you lay down to rest your aching body, you might take a moment to gaze up at those same stars that have watched over countless generations. Let their timeless beauty soothe you, just as they may have brought some small comfort to those ancient laborers. As you drift off to sleep, the sounds of the worksite fade away, replaced by the gentle whisper of the desert wind and the soft chirping of night creatures. Your muscles may ache, your skin may be burned by the sun, but for now, there is rest. Tomorrow will bring another day of back-breaking labor. Another step towards the completion of a monument that will stand for millennia. But you, dear listener, are safe and comfortable in your own time. As you lie there, feeling the softness of your bed, the weight of your blankets, take a moment to appreciate the comforts of modern life. The ancient Egyptians who built the pyramids could never have imagined the world we live in today. Let that thought settle over you, bringing with it a sense of perspective and peace. The rhythm of life in ancient Egypt was dictated by the sun and the seasons, a far cry from our modern world of electric lights and air conditioning. To relax, imagine the gentle lapping of the Nile against its banks, the rustling of papyrus reeds in the breeze. These timeless sounds have remained unchanged for thousands of years, a constant in a world of flux and change. In the quiet of the night, perhaps you can almost hear the whispered prayers of those ancient workers, their hopes and dreams, not so different from our own. Too, sought safety, comfort, and a better life for themselves and their families. As you drift closer to sleep, come, let those ancient whispers blend with the soft sounds of your own environment, creating a soothing backdrop for your rest. Remember, you're safe now. The hardships of ancient Egypt are long past, preserved only in the stones of the pyramids and the writings of ancient scribes. Let the weight of history settle around you like a comforting presence, reminding you of the resilience of the human spirit and the passage of time. Your breathing slows and deepens. Allow yourself to sink deeper into relaxation, carried on the gentle current of ancient stories and timeless rhythms. The stars that watched over the pyramid builders still shine down on us today, a constant reminder of the vastness of time and space. As you gaze at them in your mind's eye, feel the connection to those who came before us, their struggles and triumphs etched in the very stones of the pyramids. Let that connection bring you peace, knowing that you are part of a long and enduring human story. As we leave the world of ancient Egypt behind, carry with you the lessons of perseverance and the perspective of time. The challenges we face today, while different, are no less surmountable than those faced by the builders of the pyramids. Let that knowledge bring you comfort and strength as you drift off to sleep, safe in the knowledge that you are part of a long and resilient human tradition. And as we drift towards the end of our journey through ancient Egypt, let's take a moment to reflect on how far we've come. The soft whisper of air conditioning replaces the scorching desert winds, and the gentle hum of modern appliances stands in for the constant bustle of ancient marketplaces. You're safe now, nestled in the comfort of your own time. Imagine, if you will, the stark contrast between your life and that of an average Egyptian from thousands of years ago. As you sink deeper into your soft mattress, picture the hard-packed earth or simple reed mats they would have called a bed. The gentle glow of your bedside lamp is a far cry from the flickering oil lamps or simple candlelight they relied upon. Now, let the sound of running water from a nearby tap or the quiet gurgle of a humidifier soothe you. This simple comfort would have been unimaginable luxury to our ancient counterparts. They would have had to trek to the Nile or a local well for every drop of water they used. Feel the weight of gratitude settle over you like a warm, cozy blanket. As your eyes grow heavy, consider the miracle of modern medicine. A simple headache or a minor cut is easily remedied in our time. For the ancient Egyptians, even minor ailments could be life-threatening. The next time you reach for a painkiller or apply an antiseptic cream, remember how fortunate we are to have these marvels at our fingertips. Let your mind wander to the clothes you wear, the food you eat, the entertainment you enjoy. Each of these aspects of daily life has been transformed beyond recognition since the days of the pharaohs. You can rest easy knowing that your wardrobe doesn't consist solely of rough linen. Your diet isn't limited to bread and beer, and your leisure time isn't spent hauling massive stone blocks under the baking sun. Speaking of which, As you snuggle deeper into your pillow, take a moment to appreciate the wonders of climate control. No matter the weather outside, you can maintain a perfect, comfortable temperature indoors. The ancient Egyptians would have marveled at this ability to keep cool in the sweltering heat or warm in the chilly desert nights. Let the quiet hum of your refrigerator or the distant sound of traffic lull you further towards sleep. These ambient noises, so common in our modern world, would have been utterly foreign to ears from millennia past. Instead, they might have drifted off to the sound of wind rustling through papyrus reeds or the distant braying of donkeys. As your breathing slows and deepens, consider the peace and security we enjoy. While life in ancient Egypt wasn't constant warfare, the threat of invasion or internal strife was ever present. Tonight, you can close your eyes without fear of raiders from neighboring kingdoms or the wrath of a capricious pharaoh. Drift further into relaxation as you ponder the advancements in hygiene and sanitation. The simple act of flushing a toilet or turning on a shower would seem like sorcery to our ancestors. They contended with communal baths, rudimentary soap, and waste disposal methods that were far from hygienic by today's standards. You're safe now, protected by centuries of scientific progress and public health initiatives. Let your thoughts meander to the realm of knowledge and communication. In ancient Egypt, literacy was a rare and valuable skill, reserved for scribes and the elite. Today, you have access to more information at your fingertips than was contained in the entire library of Alexandria. The ability to instantly communicate with people across the globe would have seemed like the power of the gods to those living along the Nile thousands of years ago. As sleep begins to envelop you, consider the concept of time itself. Our precise measurements and standardized calendars would have amazed the ancient Egyptians, who marked the passage of days by the flooding of the Nile and the movement of celestial bodies. Your alarm clock, should you choose to use one, is a far cry from the water clocks and sundials of antiquity. Feel the weight of history lifting from your shoulders as you sink deeper into comfort. The burdens of building monuments to stand for eternity, of struggling against the whims of nature and the gods, these are not yours to bear. You can rest, knowing that your daily challenges, while significant, pale in comparison to the monumental tasks faced by those who came before us. Let your mind wander to the simple pleasures of modern life, the soft rustle of clean sheets, the gentle support of an ergonomic pillow, the soothing glow of a nightlight. These small comforts, taken for granted in our time, would have been unimaginable luxuries to even the wealthiest pharaoh. As your consciousness begins to drift, imagine the wonder an ancient Egyptian might feel if transported to our time. The miracle of flight, the magic of electricity, the marvels of modern medicine. All would seem like the work of the gods. Yet here you lie, surrounded by these wonders, safe and comfortable in a world they could scarcely have dreamed of. Let the gentle rhythm of your own breathing become a lullaby. In and out, slow and steady, just as the Nile rose and fell, bringing life to the desert. But unlike the ancient Egyptians, who lived and died by the river's cycles, you're safe from such unpredictability. Your water comes at the turn of a tap, clean and plentiful. As you hover on the edge of sleep, take one last moment to be grateful. Grateful that you don't have to haul stone blocks in 40 degrees Celsius heat. Grateful for the roof over your head that doesn't require constant maintenance against the harsh desert elements. Grateful for the abundance and security that surrounds you. Feel the soft embrace of your bed, so different from the simple pallets of reed and linen used thousands of years ago. Of the countless generations that have worked and struggled to create the world we now inhabit. As you drift off to sleep, know that you're part of a long, unbroken chain of human history. From the banks of the ancient Nile to the comfort of your modern bedroom, we've come so far. You can rest easy, safe in the knowledge that while life may have its challenges, you won't have to face the hardships of ancient Egypt. Let the quiet of the night envelop you, so different from the constant activity that would have surrounded an ancient Egyptian settlement. No need to rise with the sun or work by the light of oil lamps. Your time is your own, a luxury unimaginable to those who came before. As consciousness fades, let your last thoughts be of gratitude for the comfort you enjoy, for the progress we've made, for the simple fact that you're here, now, in this moment of history. You're safe, you're comfortable, and you can rest.